question I want to ask you, though, Adolph, is that do you find all of these kind of iterations of racial, ethnic outrage, land acknowledgement, so on and so forth, a demonstration of the way in which identity in the era of neoliberalism is dispatched to obscure the reality that none of this stuff is about actually getting resources to poor Native Americans or Black people who have been shut out of capitalism pretty much for 50 years, as opposed to creating opportunities for someone who's got a PhD in whatever studies from, Harvard.
Yeah, or anywhere at this point.
Being able to write a book subsidized by the Ford Foundation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're right. That's the short answer. I mean, the one place I would modify it a little bit is that I don't even think at this point like it needs to be deployed. You know what I mean? I mean, like this is like there's an ecology that's developed of this stuff, right? So look, like Kenneth Warren and I, when we were doing, so we did 2 summers, and for 2 summers at the beginning of the century, a Mellon Foundation funded summer seminar for dissertation level students at our respective institutions, the University of Chicago and the New School, who were working on projects that bore on race, right? And during that time, we both learned and acknowledged to each other that we were seeing a pattern of POC applicants to our respective PhD programs, right, and applications whose personal statements talked about wanting to pursue a PhD in the discipline as a preliminary to going to become a public intellectual, right? Which was, about getting on MSNBC or like doing whatever else. And like, this is, before, Melissa Harris Perry was, like a glint in anybody's professional eye, you know what I mean? So that aspiration like was out there, and we've seen more and more people, and I know this might sound kind of funny coming from me in particular, but we've seen more and more people kind of moving back and forth. Sort of redefining their base intellectual community while working as scholars, technically, or at least as professors, more and more inclined to define their core intellectual community as outside the university and as that world of commentary where you bump in, where you're dealing with people like, I don't know, what's her name? Hannah Nikole.
Joan.
Yeah, see, well, but for some reason, Anna Nicole Smith got stuck in my head. But I knew it couldn't be her because she's all white. But anyway.
That is a whole different person, and that's another show. That's our follow-up show.
Right.
Nicole Smith.
But this phenomenon has become increasingly common, right? And it says something about, it's not a matter of like the ruling class, right? I mean, looking for, Booker T. Washington, right? And it's not even so much that they look for him then, although they kind of did, but like, you don't have to, because like there are relatively autonomous dynamics in Black American intellectual life and in academic life and in the world public commentary that produce both the discourses and the people who shape the discourses, who are then available, right? And they don't even need to be, some of my old red friends and I keep making this point that shit, you don't even have to pay them anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, like, right, the idea that X might be a police agent. It doesn't matter, right? I don't know. What's his name? Glenn Greenwald, right? Right. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the police's payroll. He just does what he does, and what he does, he happens to produce for the police, basically. So that's a provocative statement that I'll give you guys.
It's really provocative. But
Look, here at The Real News, and this is Revolution, we want to see how long it takes before we get canceled.
Well, cuidate, because when Chris Lehman first contacted me about doing a column for the New Republic, we had this conversation, and he said, well, I basically took the job expecting to be fired. And I helped him realize his expectation. Not by myself. I'm not that kind of arrogant. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, so I think that's the thing, right? I think that what's even more frightening and frustrating about the way that this is playing out is that it's driven by autonomous political, economic, and sociological processes, right? That you don't even need. Jeff Bezos, didn't need to go looking for Van Jones or to make him up, right? I mean, there's a and I mean, I know, like it challenges credulity to think about it, because between the end of the Democratic primaries and the murder of George Floyd, there was such a rapid and thorough deployment of significant, elements in the higher reaches of the American capitalist class that converged on the program of race reductionist Black activism, that it was kind of breathtaking to watch, but even more sobering, right? To consider, or when we consider that this wasn't COINTELPRO, right? Like this was like a convergence of people who see the world in the same way and have the same objectives, right? So, I mean, that's how we get to Goldman Sachs having this, 1 million Black women fund or whatever that thing is. It's the same phenomenon now, and this is like part of the argument of not thinking about what we think of as gentrification in the terms in which we've been thinking about it, right? I'm heretofore, that because the response to neighborhood displacement, when understood as cultural appropriation, is to respond, or is to deal some co-culture members, right? But I'm in on the extraction, basically, right? And this is where that slippage between first person singular and first person plural, that's the essence of all forms of ethnic or national politics, comes into play, right? Because the whole point of it is, to paraphrase Rogers and Brubaker, that ethnicity is likely to become politicized in the hands of political entrepreneurs who want to pursue agendas that require the support of populations that are much larger than the number of people who are going to benefit from the realization of the agenda, right? So we need Katanga so I can get the uranium.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit like and subscribe on your way out. You can catch the live stream of This is Revolution every Tuesday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time and Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. This is Revolution.